So we all know by now that Jeremy Boring has stepped down as the CEO of the Daily Wire. Everyone's talking about it, but for the first time, Ben Shapiro broke his silence on the issue. He actually talked about it on Megyn Kelly's podcast, and I want to show that moment. Here it is.
So there's all sorts of chatter about this online, Ben. People's tongues are wagging. People who used to work for the Daily Wire suggesting this was a terrible implosion and that Jeremy was impossible to work for, etc. What is the truth?
I mean, the truth is that Jeremy stepped down to pursue things like Pendragon, which is the single biggest, I think, entertainment offering ever put forward on the right side of the aisle, like ever by a long stretch. People are going to be blown away.
It's like a Game of Thrones series that you guys are
It's unbelievable.
Producing
It's
right
unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, it's like high fantasy, Arthurian legend, 7 episodes at very high cost. I mean, it is a major, massive project, and he has to go and he has to edit that. We have to figure out exactly how we're going to market that. We have other creative projects that Jeremy is going to work on, that Jeremy wants to work on, and that Jeremy is involved with. And frankly, the day-to-day management of a very large and growing company was not, I think, in his view, conciliant with that mission, which is for him to do more creative projects, to do more on the entertainment side. I mean, frankly, I think for Jeremy, that's where a lot of his heart is as well. And so he wanted to put more focus in that as we mature as a company. As far as all of these sort of bizarre rumors that we're in serious trouble. Oh no, everything is bullshit. I mean, as somebody who looks at the balance sheet, I can tell you that is certainly not the case. And we are healthy, we are growing, we are thriving, and we have extremely big moves that we are looking forward to making this year.
So here's my take on all this. I'll take a stab at the theories because a lot of people are throwing theories out there of what happened, and I'll tell you what I think happened, just using my reason and what I know about Jeremy Boring and the Daily Wire. Jeremy Boring is a business guy. I'm sure he's mostly a nice guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but I think he's a business guy, and he's a successful one, which means he ruffles feathers sometimes, and sometimes he can be a D-bag. That's what businessmen do. He's fabulously rich. He made a $1 billion company because he's that's how he's fabulously rich. He founded it, and he's looking at his life, and he's thinking this. I love the creative side. If you didn't know, Jeremy Boring started in Hollywood, movie making, all that. He's thinking to himself, I love the creative side. I'm tired of being a CEO. It's hard. It's a hard work. He's been in it for 10 years at this point. I'm going to step down, and I'm going to focus on what I love, which is the creative side, which is what he announced he was going to be doing, as Ben Shapiro talked about. And the people who are saying that this is some grand conspiracy about him being pushed out or being bad for the company, guys, this guy with Caleb and Ben Shapiro, he built $1 billion company. I guarantee you he could stay as CEO if he wanted to. I think he's pretty trusted in the business space. As someone who dabbles in business myself, building $1 billion company would be insane. That's crazy. I think anyone would be lucky to have a CEO who was the founder of $1 billion company. Doesn't matter what industry, it's a good thing. That's a good thing. I don't think he was remotely weird in the slightest. I don't think he was shoved out. I think he genuinely just wanted to step down. He saw it was the best thing for the company, and there's nothing remotely weird about it. And I've seen competitors at the Daily Wire. This is where I get a little creeped out. People are talking about the conspiracy side of Jeremy Boring and the Daily Wire. I want to talk about the conspiracy theory of what's happening with these other conservative media companies talking about it. There's 2 things to consider because there's a lot of conservatives talking. And it's not just conservatives that are individuals. That's a little bit more fair. But it's like full-on media companies that were founded just after the Daily Wire, who are the top competitors of the Daily Wire. And the 2 problems with them talking about this is, one, they're saying that the Daily Wire is struggling right now. That Jeremy Boring stepping down is because he's not doing a good job and the Daily Wire is going to go under. And the first problem with that is it's not a publicly traded company, so they actually have zero idea. They have no idea. No one knows. The leaks are as good as me just calling you up and saying there's a leak. It could be anybody. It's gossip. And 2, this is coming again from the competitors, which I find such nasty behavior to have a whole podcast. I'm not going to name names, but I've seen people do this. And it's not an individual. It is media companies, conservative media companies, having full podcasts about how your competitor is struggling and should be struggling. I find it pompous. It's classless. It's unethical. I haven't seen the Daily Wire's earnings reports, so I don't know if they're struggling. I don't know. I have no idea because I haven't seen the numbers, and neither do they. So anytime that they say they're struggling, they're lying to you. And they're doing it for their own personal gain, and I think that's unethical, and I think the right needs to cut it out. I'm not naming names because, frankly, I think all conservative media companies are doing good in the world, and I want them to do well, all of them. And I have a media company too, and I don't want, I want everyone to do well. I don't need to be cutthroat about this, and neither do they. But I'm just going to go on a limb about the Daily Wire and say, considering they're about to release a TV series that spent tens of millions of freaking dollars to make, and they have over 1 million paying subscribers, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that they're probably doing all right, and then all these other people are gossiping and talking about their chief competitor, and they need to cut it out. Hey guys, I know that filing taxes can be stressful, so if you haven't filed your taxes yet, I want to introduce you to the people who have done my taxes, Quick Tax America. Quick Tax America has already gotten its average tax returner over $4,000 back from the IRS just this year, and unlike the other services, they're not raising rates just because it's March and it's April and it's getting close to the deadline. All their rates are only $69 for all federal returns, no matter how complicated your taxes are, and they do all the work, unlike the other services that you find out there where you spend 4 hours and it takes forever. All you got to do with Quick Tax America is upload your files, answer a few basic questions, and schedule a 15-minute finish your return call with a tax professional. They do all the rest of the work for you. So go check them out at quicktaxamerica.com, or you can go to the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, go down below, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and watch another video.